But, I had a vision when I was a child, like when I was 10 or 11, something didn't make sense to me about the world. And I was growing up in the 60s, so the thinking has changed massively since then. So this doesn't really apply now. But when I was in the 60s, what I saw were adults who worked mostly in one company their whole life, and they worked really long hours and really hard in order to retire and get their pension so they could start really living the life they wanted. But most of them died within 2, 3, 4 years of retiring.
Oh.
And it just never made sense to me as a child that would be your life.
Mm.
And I used to say sometimes to one or two teachers, and certainly to my classmates, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why do people do that? Why is that what we're supposed to do?
Mm.
And they said, well, what's the alternative? And I was only 10 or 11. I'd say, well, you know what I'm going to do as a young kid? I'm going to just get a job where I can earn twice as much money in the first half, and then have the second half of my life, say from 40 onwards, to go and travel and play. And that's what I'm going to do. And they say, well, how are you going to do that? I say, I don't know. I'm only 10. I have no idea what I was talking about. But I had this thinking as a kid, and then I totally forgot about it.
Mm.
But it came back to me when later on in my life, when I got divorced and my dad died, and that led to me taking the journey that I've written about in my book.
Mm.
That then I went, oh my goodness, I'd forgotten I'd said. It was as if it had silently shaped my life journey in the background without me even consciously realizing it.
Excellent. Yeah. And it's not an unrealistic goal. Work and save money and build up so you can retire early. That's not.
But that's an adult's logic. And that's a kind of that is rational. And that's great. But I wasn't an adult and I wasn't rational. I was just saying it because it didn't make any sense to just spend your whole life doing one thing and then die.
Right. And I think most people feel that way, but, and strangely now and today you can get let go from a company, especially here in the States and
everywhere,
you think you're going to work someplace, you have it, I'm going to be here until I retire. No, then they let you go. And it's
that psychological contract has been ripped up for at least a decade now.
It has. And then when I was in my mid 30s, I've been in the tech industry for my whole career. And just in my mid 30s, I started seeing my colleagues, they would hit their 50s.
Right.
And they would get laid off. And it was, to me, that was like, I'm not going to. And here's the devastating, tragic thing is a lot of them just didn't have any money. So they would end up losing everything. And then they can't find another job because of their age. And it was, so I saw that and it was like, I don't want that for myself. So it's time to save money. But So when did you become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I did. This because of that thinking as a child, when I was 16 and my education come to an end, I didn't want to continue with further education. I wanted to get into the world of creation and work and business and start learning straight away about business. And so I took a job at 16. I worked for one of the big banks in England.
Excellent.
To start learning. And that's what I did. And I worked for a year there. Then I joined a kind of really interesting organization in sales for a couple of years, learned about sales and building customer relationships. And that really excited me because it appealed to my values of being independent, being free, being able to create money through my skill at that work, without a limit. And that really did appeal to me. And I did that for a couple of years. And then I joined an organization which was extremely forward thinking and progressive. I don't know how lucky I was to find it, but the owner of that company used to say to a lot of the young ones, I was in my 20s, you're never going to become truly wealthy on a salary.